Hello everyone, I am the MoeChicken and this is more Castlevania Symphony of the Night Maria mode. In the last episode we went through the Royal Chapel, I talked a lot about side stories. I'm going to save right now because I realized I had not after the last episode. That's something I should have cut out, but I didn't, so there you go. And now we are on our way to somewhere else. We're kind of running, honestly we're running out of places to explore in the castle, I think. Let me see. Let me go to the map real quick. I think... Map. So, where else can we go? So we still need to go to the center of the castle, which, actually I don't know if you can get there as Maria. Come to think of it. I'm not sure if you can do that. But we also have to go to Roxas Chambers. We have to go to, the Coliseum. So I guess that will be our new direction to head in. So let's go that way. What was I saying? Yeah, so I was talking a lot about the quality of the series and the sort of, I guess, the theming that showed up as a result of this game. And I think part of that is the new artistic direction as a result of this game. Like, from what I understand, I think the artist who is responsible for a lot of the art in the Castlevania series, I believe it's a she, and I believe her name is it's something Kojima, I believe. And I want to say the only reason I remember that is because she has no relation to Hideo Kojima, who is the the guy behind the Metal Gear series. But the art, like the artist who did the art for this game, decided to take like this sort of, I guess, a Western approach to the art. So like everything is like painted in oils. Everything is really embellished and flamboyant. All the characters are sort of they're a lot more lifelike than some of the characters that were represented before, and it all just looks very elegant, for lack of a better term. And as like. And then you think about like the music in this game and the way that they put so much effort into like every little thing in the castle. Like it went from a game that was just sort of like a romp through a monster dungeon to sort of like something that feels kind of like opulent, but also very Gothic, I guess, is the best term for it. I don't really like that term because I feel like that term is sort of applied to things willy-nilly when they just mean, oh, it's vampire-y. And it's like, yeah, Gothic is a specific style of architecture, and nothing in here is Gothic. If anything, I'd say it's like dark Rococo, but, which I think is close to Gothic, but whatever. It's just sort of, I don't know, I feel like it's a catch-all term that is inaccurate, but you can feel the fact that they put more effort into making everything in this game more elegant. And in particular, one of the areas that I really feel that about is Roxas Chamber, which I don't know how we'll get in as Maria. So this is the clock that I alluded to earlier in the series. If this statue on the left here were to retract, I could go up and Roxas Chambers would be over there. If this statue were to retract, I could go to a small cache of items, which is completely useless for Maria. And as far as I know, this moves in reference to your actual game clock. But I don't really know what triggers it. So I tell you what, I will cut away, or we will fast forward until it moves. So I'll see you in a bit. And now I'll just walk. Now we'll just walk around. Alright, we're back. It took no time at all. So there it is. Up we go. Yes, this is the way to Roxas Chambers. And Roxas Chambers is kind of what sold me on the elegant notion. In particular, I like the fact... Oh, it's Roxas' room here, excuse me. I like the fact that this place feels very significant. You know, I talked earlier in the series about Olrox and Count Orlok and Nosferatu and all that. And that's all true. But I didn't know that playing this game the first time. All I knew was that all of a sudden I was in this new area with this really, like, elegant music. And, like, you look at the background and it's, like, it feels more modern than some of the other things in the castle. And, like, there are these, these banisters with these fancy carvings on them. And it all suddenly feels like you're in, like, a rich person mansion. And, but you still feel that kind of slight bit of menace that accompanies, vampire stuff. Not Gothic, it's vampire stuff. Die already, I hate you. Die. Okay. I don't know, this sort of just suddenly made me feel like, oh, this is important. But when you think about it, it's just sort of another area in the castle. And that's one of the things that I really like about Castlevania as a series after this point. Like, I talked earlier about Bloodstained, and I talked about some of the other games, and I think one of the things that I always really find enjoyable about the exploration-focused Castlevania games is that just finding out what areas will be in the game this time, because, like, in this game, a lot of the areas are pretty relatively straightforward. There are things that you could potentially find in a castle, like a library, like an underwater reservoir, an underwater reservoir, a underground reservoir, an elegant guest room area, all those sorts of things. They all feel very much like things that you might expect to see in a castle. But in, like, later games, they have, like, the Demon Guest House, the Alchemy Laboratory, just all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's cool, and I love exploring, and this area in particular was the first time that I was like, oh wow, this is neat, I've never seen this before, cool. So, yeah, this is Olrox's room. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And then there's this guy. I kind of like these guys, what would you call them? I think they actually have a name. They're like the Weapon Brothers or something. I want to say the bestiary refers to them by some, like, specific name, but they're just kind of like, they're made up of sprites that are just being, like, rotated and stuff in sync to make it look like a complete monster, and it's just sort of a neat effect. I don't know. It's one of those things that I feel like they were kind of showing off a little bit when they made it. But whatever. So I think this is a teleporter, maybe? I think teleporter, yes. Teleporter, no. Teleporter, yes. Okay. So, open that up. And now I think... do I want to go to the Coliseum, or do I want to go try and fight Olrox? I've been talking a lot about Olrox and how scary he is, so I guess it's time to go and try and take him on. I have the axe, which is the weapon... Like, the only time I've beaten him with Maria... Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maria. The only time I've beaten him with Maria was using the axe. So, it's the only weapon I have any sort of faith in my ability to use. But, come on, Maria. There you go. I really don't know. All I really remember from the first time I fought him was that he has a move that he uses. Oh, I always love this. Did you see him? Did you see that guy? So there's, like, prisoners back here, and they'll walk forward, and sometimes they'll do that. They'll, like, bang on the bars, and you can't do anything. They're just hanging out, and then when you go away, they'll walk away because they realize they didn't get your attention. He looked back. Did you see him look back for a second? It's just neat. Once again, this game is really well made. I know I've said that a ton this playthrough, but it is really well made. There's lots of cool stuff in it. And now, like, you also think about this area, like, we were previously in, like, a really opulent area, and now we're in, like, a prison for some reason with spikes on the ceiling. Just super cool. And there's the moon, and it looks neat, and it's a different moon than you usually see with Castlevania, and it doesn't look like they have the effect. So, there's a really chintzy, I guess, effect that they do in the PlayStation one, where they have kind of like a, it's like a pseudo lighting effect with the moon. So, like, there's like a thin transparency, like a thin shadow transparency across the entire screen. And then whenever the moon, and it's like sort of lighter around the moon, and whenever the moon goes behind a column, it cuts away. So it's kind of like the moon is lighting things up, fancy dancy. But in this one, they just don't have it. So there you go. It's just not there. And I think we will have to save Olrox for the next episodes because I'm up against time. So I will cut off now, and in the next episode, we will try and fight Olrox, and that's going to be fun for me. Don't expect success. Expect something. Hopefully entertainment. Hopefully. That's the goal. I am the MoeChicken. This is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Thanks for stopping by.